Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Dungeon Den, the second ever battle report. SkeletOrkz versus Skaven. The SkeletOrkz defeated the Sons of Bahamut in the last battle report, so here they are, taking on the Skaven. As always, feel free to like and subscribe and comment down below, and if you can be bothered or are interested, have a look at the links. Oh, and roll off to decide attacker or defender. The SkeletOrkz win and become the attacker. Skavens are defender. Now the twist, survivor's grief. SkeletOrkz are the underdog. With SkeletOrkz being the attacker, the Skaven are the defenders, and they choose the battle board Delorum, half and half deployment map. The defender picks territory B. The defender picks terrain group B, small wall, large fence, and the attacker takes terrain group A, large wall, small fence. With the SkeletOrkz being the attackers, they deploy all units first. Followed by the Skaven. The Skaven, using the lurking Vermintide once per battle deployment phase. Battle tactics for the SkeletOrkz are Dais of Necropolis, Morbid Consecration, and War of Attrition. Battle tactics for Skaven are the Dais of Necropolis, Attack on two fronts, and the Dais of Blood. Their objectives are set: Dais of Necropolis, War of Attrition, and Morbid Consecration. No start of turn abilities trigger as we move into the next phase. Into the hero phase. The Mega Boss calls out, "Get stuck in, lads," targeting the Brute Ragers on a 2+. And it goes off. The Brute Ragers gain a +1 to their attack characteristics. That brings the hero phase to a close. Into the movement phase, SkeletOrkz surge forward, using "Here we go" on the brute ragers as they push towards the Skaven army. We also have the Ard boys moving up towards the clan rats. The mega boss barrels ahead with a huge run, the twist ability allowing him to still charge later in the phases. The Ard boys begin their advance towards the Clawlord. There is no shooting phase for the Orcs this turn. Into the charge phase. The mega boss roars in first, needing a 6. Rolls a 3 and fails. The brute ragers, charging the rat ogres. Rolling a 6 and making it in. End of the charge phase. The brute ragers charge in, activating their strike first ability. They pile in with the extra attack. 12 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s, 5 wounds at rend 1, 5 6-up saves, all fail. 10 damage slams into the rat ogres. Brutality from the brute ragers. The rat ogre piles in on the brute ragers. 5 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, 2 wounds at rend 1. The ragers need 6s. Both fail. 4 damage dealt. 1 brute rager cut down, another left with 2 wounds remaining. The Greyseer piles in. Striking the brute ragers with the Warpstone staff. 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s, 1 wound at rend 1. 6-up save, fails. D3 damage for 2 damage. Another brute rager falls. A brutal first round of combat. End of turn for the SkeletOrkz. They score 1 point for controlling an objective, another for controlling 2 or more, and a third for controlling more objectives than their opponent. Dice of Necropolis is not completed, neither is War of Attrition nor Morbid Consecration, all remaining unfulfilled. Speed of Death is then used. A command from War of Attrition. A friendly unit in combat is removed from the battlefield and set back up more than 6 inches away from enemy units. Burning the battle tactic. The SkeletOrkz end their turn with 3 victory points. Start of turn for the Skaven. There were no start of turn abilities. Into the hero phase. The hero phase for the Skaven. Greyseer casts Wither onto the brute rager. Needing a 6. Rolling a 10. D3 mortal damage. 4-3. The last brute rager is slain. Hero phase complete. Into the movement phase for the Skaven. Clawlord moves toward the SkeletOrkz Ard boys in the far corner of the battlefield. The Greyseer advances to contest the central objective. The Rat Ogre also moving in towards the Megaboss. Clan Rats remain in place to hold their objective, and the Warlock Engineer staying put to secure his objective. Shooting phase for the Skaven. The Rat Ogre fires a warp fire gun. 2d6 shots for 9. Hitting on 2s. Wounding on 4s. 4 wounds at Rend 2. The Megaboss needs 5 up saves. All 4 fail. 4 damage dealt, leaving the Megaboss with 4 wounds remaining. Absolute brutality from the Warp Fire gun. Warlock Engineer fires a Warplock musket into the Ardboys in front of the Clawlord. 2 attacks hitting on 3s. 1 critical hit for an auto wound. Rend 2 into the Ardboys, 1 5-up save. Made. Critical wound goes through, D3 damage for 2 damage. 1 SkeletOrkz is removed. Now the Clawlord levels his rattling pistol at the Megaboss. D6 shots for 1. Needing 3s. Misses completely. An appalling shot from the Clawlord. End of shooting phase. Charge phase for the Skaven. Clawlord charges first. Rolling a 5. Just enough to reach the Megaboss. Ignoring the Ardboys. The Rat Ogre follows in, charging the Megaboss. With a 7. No counter charges, no other abilities. End of the charge phase. Combat phase. No abilities, straight into the fighting. Rat Ogre tears into the Megaboss. 5 attacks. Hitting on 4s. Wounding on 3s. 4 wounds at Rend 1. 4 up saves needed. All fail. 2 damage apiece. The Megaboss is torn apart. A vicious kill from the Rat Ogre, ending the combat phase. End of turn for the Skaven. They score 1 point for controlling an objective, another for controlling 2 or more. Now holding the centre, they score a 3rd for controlling more objectives than their opponent. Dais of Necropolis is completed. Attack on 2 fronts is not completed. Dais of Blood also not achieved. 4 victory points scored, putting the Skaven into the lead. Brutality. End of Battle Round 1. Battle Round 2. Roll-Off. The SkeletOrkz win the roll-off and choose to go first. The twist this round is Darkened Skies. As the underdogs, the SkeletOrkz claim 1 objective. Objective, bottom right. For this battle round, it is treated as contested with a control score of 1. Their new battle tactics are attack on 2 fronts, Dais of Blood, and Raise. The Skaven discard attack on 2 fronts and Dais of Blood, receiving Hold Ground, Morbid Consecration, and Grip of Death. Start of turn, SkeletOrkz. Their battle tactics are attack on 2 fronts, Dais of Blood, and Raise. Let's see what they can make of it. Into the hero phase, but with the Megaboss slain, there is no hero phase to be had. straight into the movement phase. The hard boys on the blood objective use Here We Go, pushing across the board and landing themselves nicely, giving 2 options of charges. The hard boys on the night objective move forward, advancing their position. The brutes unable to come on until turn 3. Shooting phase. No shooting for the SkeletOrkz. Into the charge phase. The hard boys charged the Warlock Engineer. Snake Eyes. Total failure. The second unit charges the Clan Rats. Rolling a 7. Just making it in with half an inch. End of the charge phase. Combat phase. First, shield bash from the hard boys into the Clan Rats. 5 rolls. 1 6. 1 mortal wound, 1 Clan Rat crushed. The hard boys pile in. 10 attacks, hitting on 4s. 5 hits, wounding on 3s. 3 wounds at rend 1. 3 6-up saves. All fail. 3 more Clan Rats slain. Clan Rats pile in to retaliate. 12 attacks, hitting on 4s. Wounding on 5s. No wounds. Ending the combat phase. End of turn for the SkeletOrkz. There are no end of turn abilities for them. The Clan Rats can use Seething Swarm. D3 slain models return. Rolling a 3, the Clan Rats surge back onto the objective, keeping it out of Orc control. The SkeletOrkz score 1 point for controlling an objective, and another for controlling 2 or more. Also, their battle tactic Raise is completed. 3 victory points this turn, bringing them to 6 in total. Start of turn for the Skaven. Battle tactics, Holy Ground, Morbid Consecration and Grip of Death. All tactics are available. All tactics are attainable. Let's see how the Skaven scurry around into the hero phase. Hero phase for the Skaven. The Gracier casts Wither onto the hard boys. Needing a 6. Rolling a 5. Wither fails. End of the hero phase. In the movement phase, Clan Rats emerge from the tunnels below with Gnawhole ambush, arriving on the opposite side of the battlefield. Clawlord moves up to claim the blood objective. The Rat Ogre, the central objective claimed, turns toward the hard boys. And the Gracier also advances to support the attack alongside the Rat Ogre. The Skaven spreading out across the battlefield, looking to seize control of every objective. Movement phase complete. The Rat Ogre fires into the hard boys with a warp fire gun. 2d6 shots for 8. Hitting on 2s. Wounding on 4s. That's 2 wounds at Rend 2. 2 5-up saves for the hard boys. 1 made, 1 failed. That's 1 damage, leaving 1 hard boy on a single wound remaining. The Warlock Engineer now fires Warplock Musket. 2 attacks hitting on 3s. 1 auto wound and the other wounds on a 3. That's 2 wounds at Rend 2. 2 5-up saves. 1 made, 1 failed. D3 damage for 3. Taking out a full SkeletOrkz and the remainder. End of shooting phase. Charge phase. Rat Ogre charges into the Ardboys, needing a 5. And that will get him in. End of charge phase. Combat phase for the Skaven. First, the Ardboys with a shield bash into the Rat Ogre, needing 6s, both missing. They then shield bash into the nearby Clanrats with 5 attacks looking for 6s. 1 6 comes through, causing a single wound, and 1 Clanrat is removed. The Rat Ogre fights first, tearing into the SkeletOrkz Ardboys. Warpstone static corrupts the recording. By the time the signal clears, the Rat Ogre's work is already done. The Orcs strike back in vengeance, turning their fury on the Clanrats. 10 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, 3 wounds at Rend 1. The Rats need 6s to save. 3 Clanrats are cut down. Clanrats claw back at the Ardboys. 10 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s, but only 2 wounds. No Rend. 2 3-up saves for the SkeletOrkz. Both made, ending the combat phase. End of turn for Skaven. They use Seething Swarm, returning D3 slain models for 3 Clanrats, which is enough to take control of the Necropolis objective. They gain 1 point for controlling 1 objective, 1 point for controlling 2 or more, and 1 point for controlling more objectives than their opponent. They do not score Holy Ground. They do score Morbid Consecration, bringing them to 4 points, and they also achieve Grip of Death, taking them to 5 victory points this turn. So at the end of round 2, Skaven move up to 9 points, leading the game 9 points to 6. Battle round 3, roll off. And the Skaven win the roll off. Start of the battle round sequence. The roll off is won by the Skaven. The underdog are the SkeletOrkz. The twist card this round is Savage Mourning. Each player scores 1 victory point at the end of their turn for each friendly unit in combat with an enemy unit. If the underdog has more destroyed friendly units than destroyed enemy units at the end of their turn, they score 1 additional victory point. The Skaven choose to go first, taking the double turn. Moving into battle tactics. SkeletOrkz burn both of their battle tactics, drawing 3 new cards. Raid, Take Without Warning, and Desolate Landscapes. Because the Skaven chose to go first, the double turn, they do not gain any new battle tactics. Ending the starter turn and into the hero phase. Hero phase for the Skaven. The Greyseer casts Wither onto the Ardboys. Rolling 2d6. Looking for a 6. Double 6. D3 mortal wounds. 2 mortal wounds dealt. That is one hard boy slain. Ending the hero phase. Into the movement phase for the Skaven. The clan rats will run, gaining an additional 2 inches of movement. Warlord moves up towards the centre of the battlefield. The Greyseer also advances, moving towards the SkeletOrkz. The Rat Ogre follows alongside him, ending the movement phase. Shooting phase for the Skaven. The Warlock Engineer fires into the SkeletOrkz. 2 attacks hitting on 3s. 1 crit auto wound. Wounding on a 3. That's 2 wounds at Rend 2. 2 5-up saves for the SkeletOrkz. 1 made. D3 damage. 1 damage dealt, having 1 SkeletOrk on 1 health remaining. Rat Ogre lines up into the SkeletOrkz. 2d6 shots for 3 shots. Hitting on 2s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 4. Failed. Terrible shooting. Ending the shooting phase. Into the charge phase. The Rat Ogre charges into the SkeletOrkz on a 5, making it in. The Greyseer also declares a charge. Rolling an 8. Well in. End of the charge phase. Into the combat phase. Shield bash into the Rat Ogre. Looking for a 6. Failed. The Rat Ogre strikes into the SkeletOrkz. 5 attacks, hitting on 4s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. 1 wound at Rend 1. 4-up save. Failed. That is 1 SkeletOrk slain. The SkeletOrk strike back. 4 attacks into the Rat Ogre. 2 into the Greyseer. Into the Rat Ogre, hitting on 4s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. Failed. Into the Greyseer, hitting on 4s. Both miss. Tragic. The Greyseer strikes into the SkeletOrkz. 3 attacks hitting on 4s. All hit. Wounding on 4s. 2 wounds at Rend 1. 2 4-up saves. 1 failed. D3 damage. 3 damage dealt. Another hard boy is removed, leaving 1 on 1 and 1 on 1 wound remaining. The clan rats pile in. 16 attacks, hitting on 4s. Wounding on 5s. 3 wounds, no rend. 3 3-up saves. 1 failed, 1 damage dealt, leaving 1 SkeletOrk remaining. The clan rats roll for Seething Swarm. 1 model returned. They score 1 for 1 objective. 1 for 2 or more. 1 for having more than their opponent. Still not completed the battle tactic Holy Ground. They do earn themselves 3 points from the twist card for having 3 units in combat. That brings them to 6 points at the end of their turn. Starting turn for the SkeletOrkz. Battle round 3. Battle tactics. Raid. Take without warning. And desolate landscapes. All looking very difficult at this stage. Into the hero phase. No mega boss. No hero phase. End of hero phase. Into the movement phase for the SkeletOrkz. The brutes are still unable to come on as reinforcements, blocked out by the Skaven, with one last orc still stuck in combat. Ending the movement phase. There will be no shooting phase, and there will be no charge phase for the SkeletOrkz, taking us straight into the combat phase. Shield bash into the Rat Ogre. D6 fails. 2 attacks into the Rat Ogre, hitting on 4s. 1 hit, wounding on a 3. 1 wound at rend 1. 6 up save. Failed. The Rat Ogre is down to 1 wound remaining. The Rat Ogre piles in and strikes back. 5 attacks, hitting on 4s. All 5 hit. Wounding on 3s. 3 wounds. 3 4-up saves. 2 failed. That is enough to slay the final SkeletOrk. Ending the combat phase in dominance. End of turn for the SkeletOrkz. They score 1 victory point as the underdog from the twist card, Savage Mourning. Roll off. And the Skaven take it. They choose to go first, burning their battle tactics, but holy ground still stands. Into the hero phase. Gracier calls upon the will of the Horned Rat on a 3-up. Yes, for a 4. And that's it. No movement, no shooting, no charges, and no combat. Just control. Absolute control. At the end of the turn, they score 1 for 1 objective, 1 for 2 or more, 1 for more than their opponent, and holy ground. 4 points, clean, clinical. End of turn for the Skaven. SkeletOrkz. Start of turn. Nothing. No battle tactics. No hero phase. In the movement phase, the brutes are still locked out, completely screened by Skaven control. No shooting phase, no charges, and no combat phase. The SkeletOrkz, not even a chance to play. Ending their turn on 0 points. No twist, no swing, no lifeline. 19-7. The Skaven don't just win. Total domination. End of the battle report.